We did it. We're live.
Yep. Together.
It's been a while.
It has. Well, we've never been like side by side, except for like monitor side by side.
It's almost awkward because we've gotten so used to using the Zoom calls that now we've got to change formats a little bit because instead of pointing up.
And always getting it backwards.
Yeah.
Up is left, sideways is right.
Yeah. Don't do diagonal.
No.
Diagonal's like dividing by 0. It does not compute on those.
So, yeah, we're back live again today.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since we've done this, but the hope is to start picking these back up and doing them a little bit more regularly.
Why has it been so long?
We all got back to the office and we've all been very busy. And I think as people started going back to work, there were fewer eyeballs just focused on Facebook as much as there were, because when everybody was stuck at home, they had lots of free time. Everyone was spending all the time on their phone, looking at social media. And at a certain point, like, since things were changing so quickly and we were kind of in this like weird neutral, not sure what's going on, like at a certain point, we'd given a lot of advice and it was time to just step back and see how things were going to go. Before we came back.
How have you seen a shift over the last, I know it's still kind of week to week, but over, say, the last month when we started entering phase 1 and now I think Monday it was phase 2. How are you seeing that shift?
More people are obviously getting out, but I still think the biggest takeaway from all this is that people have become really savvy online shoppers that weren't before. And so this notion of like, let's not worry about online or takeout or anything like that, depending upon your industry, let's go back to normal. I don't think you can just go back to normal. I think there's still too many people who would rather stay at home and eat, get takeout, pick it up to go, have it delivered for restaurants, or order things online and have it delivered to them. I don't think you can just ignore that, and I think doing so is leaving money on the table.
Yeah, and I say kudos to those who have been out there and have successfully shifted over to that e-commerce platform they usually weren't using, they weren't having to use, and now they're using it now. So it's been neat to see. But okay, so we can go ahead and start today's topic. It won't be terribly long, but I know that Philip has a few things that always kind of, would you say, grind your gears a little bit?
To make me just kind of go,
yeah.
A little bit.
On Facebook. And for some of you guys, this may be very common, but you'd be shocked at how often we see these mistakes or these, I guess, things that you could take advantage of that aren't usually taken advantage of on Facebook, or aren't always taken advantage of. Maybe a better way of putting that.
Let's just say I see very, very few Facebook pages that have done all 5 well.
Yeah.
I think that would, you can have, some people don't do any of it. Some people have like 1 or 2 of these items. Maybe they have 4, but they've missed one. But I've seen very few Facebook pages that I think really utilize all 5 things properly.
Yeah. And 50% of these isn't good. We want all of them.
These are all things that may not seem like a big deal. But altogether, there is a benefit to them.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, let's get started. So it's 5 tips. What's tip number 1?
Tip number 1 is to set your username. So when someone wants to talk about your business, and the old way was they would just type your business name and it would pop up and you were tagged and could show up. Thing is, though, if you want to get tagged, you have to have a username. And that's that little thing under your profile picture that will say @ something, something, something. There's plenty of pages that don't have it. And if you don't, people can't tag you in things. Like, they may be able to tag that you were there. But if you want, we run Searchers.com. We promote a lot of businesses in town. And sometimes it's troubling. We can't promote them and tag them in something we've done about them because they don't have a username set up. The other thing with usernames, it's not just setting one up. It's setting one up that's easy to understand. I've seen some that are very long. Maybe their business name is long, or they put their name and their slogan in the whole thing. The longer the username, how are we gonna It's so much harder to find it, because in many cases you have to know exactly what it is. It may narrow down for you whether you're using Facebook or a third-party system, but if it's long, I've got to go look it up every time. That's not helpful. So typically, think of it from the standpoint of if you were going on Facebook and looking for a business, because this also makes it easier to find businesses when you're looking for them if you have a specific username. If I'm going to type out a business to try and find it, what would I type that out? What do you think people are going to type in to find your business? That's how you should do your username. Now, I understand in some cases there are multiple businesses maybe across the country that have similar names or have the
So
same
they have to
name.
shift and get like a,
But find
bit
ways to
different.
make it make sense. Add Cersei to it or add AR.
but not
Something that-
cryptic numbers.
No, don't
Yeah.
add numbers or
Yeah.
adding in three more things. Like just make it simple.
Yeah.
Like everything else in life, especially now, like things move so
Where-
quickly. You want to make things as easy as possible for people because they're more likely to do it.
From an admin standpoint on Facebook, where is this located?
It's like I said, so if you look under your profile picture, that your username will be listed there.
Okay.
Or it'll say at username
Mhm.
because you haven't put one in yet. Just go click on it and it'll let you set up your username.
So something really cool happened with our Facebook page this week, and we had a logo for Heber Springs, actually just larger than life now. It got put on the side of a water tower.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so you can see that on our Facebook page. But so shout out to Heber Springs for really cool logo and branding. But the thing about that is if we didn't have our username handle in there, we wouldn't have been able to have been tagged or get any credit for helping out with that
Yeah.
project.
So
So
we wouldn't see it. People wouldn't
Mhm.
be able to click. And again, once they tag you in that, remember they can click on that. That becomes a link straight to your Facebook page. So you're missing out on potential traffic to your page.
awesome. Good stuff. Okay, moving on to tip number 2.
Profile pictures. I see this a lot in local businesses. Your profile picture needs to be simple. And here's why. I always try and explain to everybody, work from the user experience. So how do most people use Facebook? They scroll their timeline. They don't go to pages a whole lot. They're not just going from page to page to page. They're scrolling their timeline, and they're doing it mostly from their phone. So your profile picture isn't going to be very big on the Facebook app on your phone, right? So if your Facebook picture, your profile picture is, let's say it is your logo, but it's a complicated logo. It's the whole thing. Or let's say it's a picture of a bunch of people. If it's a complex image, it's hard to define when you look at it. It becomes less memorable, right? That's why you want to take something simple and recognizable and identifiable so that people will see it, even if it's just in passing, and recognize that that's what that is.
Sometimes people can have long horizontal names that they
Mhm.
try to cram in there, and when you start to shrink them down, you can't hardly read them at all.
You get a lot of medical practices that are like that, where it's their Dr. Michael Smith, DD, or whatever. I don't know all the initials of things. And once you get that in there, the more you shrink it, the harder it is. So like, if you're watching this, you could look at our profile picture. It is our logo, but our logo is simple and identifiable. And even if you don't necessarily read it when it passes by, you recognize what looks like think with the colors there into it. So keeping things simple, I would always go with logo. And if you have a logo that has some sort of defining image that you can include, I think that's a big
Mhm.
thing. If you are let's say you are a medical facility and your practice is you, and that's the bit, then it's okay, I would say, if you want to use a nice
Yeah.
profile picture of you because you are the
You're the
business,
name of the
right?
business. Yeah.
But photos of like the things that you sell or like the family that owns the business, things like that, that the more complex, the more going on in the image, the more less identifiable it is.
It can be a little less professional. And we've taken some logos that have had problem formatting and actually tried to reformat and offer some social media versions for them. Tara does a good job of trying to work and stay on brand while making those profile pictures fit. That's great. We knocked out 2. We got 3 more. Yep. 3 more to go.
Three. So number 3 is a call to action button.
Okay.
If you're on a Facebook page and you want to know where that is, if you look under the cover photo, that's that top photo on your page, you're probably going to see a button. It's a blue button, and it has a few different options. You could say watch video, sign up, send message, book now. This is just an easy way if someone does come to your page. As I mentioned, as we get along, some of this becomes more about when people are coming to your page. People don't spend a lot of time on pages, but if they are coming to your page, that means that they are interested in you.
Right.
So, as I said, making things easy for people to do is going to make them more incentivized to do so. So having this call to action button set up, making sure that it best fits whatever your business is or what you're hoping to get from them is going to make it more likely that somebody might click it. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to set that button up and you're going to have 10 people interact with it.
But why not, right?
Right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt to have that at all. And different ones have different purposes. Watch video could go to a video. Book now. There is one that goes straight to Messenger. There's one that allows you to go to the website. There's one that lets you. So spend a little time, figure out which one fits you best. Because again, it's not going to immediately have this great ROI, but it's not going to hurt you to have it set up there at all.
Right. It allows a person to clear contact to your business. And we use that term call to action is really what we want the customer to do when they visit a website, or in this case, a Facebook page, to try to make sure that we're generating leads and sales for our business. So absolutely, why not put it on there? And then, like you said, make sure you match your call to action to what type of business it is. So if for instance, if you were a plumber, what would be an appropriate call to action?
I would do a book now or a call now. If I don't, if my website's not very good, I'm not going to send them to my website. If I don't have video, if I don't spend enough time on Facebook to answer messages from people, I don't want to use the message now. I want to figure out what is best for your business and then utilize that to benefit you.
And to piggyback off that, one crossover tip from this to Google My Business is if you actually download the Google My Business app, when you're setting up on that, you then get a message me button or an estimate button. So it's kind of cool too. So all these things are just ways of taking your points of contact and letting people get directly in touch with you while reducing their click depth, meaning reducing the amount of clicks it takes to get to an actual contact.
Again,
we want to be there, be available, and make sure.
Simplify. Like we live in a day where everybody wants to do things quickly. The longer it takes to do something, the more steps I have to follow, the less likely they are to actually follow through and you get the desired result. So it's just another way to simplify things, make things easy for people.
Awesome. All right, 2 more to go. And this one involves a little bit more work, I think, on the user end.
Yes.
But not a ton.
No. So every Facebook business page has an about section. We've all probably filled in some things in it. But are you using it to its full extent? Because think of it this way. As we said, most people just scroll their timeline. Used to, your about section would show up on your page. People could just see it there. Well, now it doesn't really. Like they'll throw a few things, your address and your phone number, maybe your web link. But that full about section isn't just there anymore. So that means that if someone has gone from their timeline to your Facebook page and cared enough to click on the about section to learn more about you, that means that they are interested. That is a potential lead for your business.
So is there a limit on information on the about page?
No and yes. There is a lot that you can put into. I mean, you can put your hours of operation. You can put price range. You can put obviously your basic contact information, including email, website, phone number, address. There's spots to do little blurbs about what your business is. But one of the big things in there is a section that's called Our Story. This allows you to, whatever your business is, whether you have a website, you probably have an About Us section that kind of tells who you are, what you stand for, maybe the story of how your business came together. This is an opportunity to put that there. Because again, if someone's actually interested in your business, they're going to want to learn as much about you as possible. And that Our Story allows you an opportunity to tell them more about you. And honestly, like if your business has a really cool story of how you set up or how you do business, like this is a great opportunity to put it in with a nice photo, because I think people do read them. Again, this isn't going to immediately turn into tons of people, but if someone's going to take the time to come all the way down to your about page, you should try and make sure that they get as much information as possible about who you are.
And this would be a good opportunity to use your differentiation points as a business to where, you may be, you may sell fishing lures, for instance, but that everybody could sell fishing lures in your industry. What's special about your lure? Why does it work? Or what's different about your services? If you're a plumber, why would I use you? Or do you show up on time? Do you do things? Stay away from words. A lot of times like family friendly and we're honest.
Yeah.
Because you really shouldn't have to say that, right? I mean,
it should speak for itself.
If something says we're honest or authentic, I mean, kind of at first you're like, that's great. We really expect you to be honest. So take the time to really figure out what it differentiates your business from others. You can still use that and retread that copy for social media posts and website and everything else.
Especially if you've put the time into a nice website and have a nice like story or about us section, you might as well put that on Facebook as well, because just because they follow you, check out your website doesn't mean they're on Facebook. And just because they're on Facebook doesn't mean they're going to go to your website. So you might as well have that information, especially if it's good and you put time into it, in as many places as possible for people to see it.
Okay, so now people have made it 12 going on 13 minutes here, and now for the final one.
All right.
To wrap up, and this is something that when I read it, I honestly took me a second, didn't realize it was possible. So I'm excited about the
cover photos. People seem I've seen too many businesses who seem to treat them just as a thing you're supposed to do, is have a photo up there. At the
Check that
top.
box. Yeah.
And they'll throw a photo in, and it's not framed well. So you get like, let's say you're a medical practice.
You could probably
and
stand
you've
up on the
got-
screen and
Yeah,
show
it's
it.
just it's this. This is the frame. It's all the way across.
So
here.
wave. Yeah.
Here's your whole staff. Is 5 people and their torsos.
Right,
You don't
yeah.
get a face. You don't get like. It's not a good photo, or it's a food shot, but it's not framed well, or it wasn't a shot that really fit the. I love when they do vertical photos in their header image that
Oh,
do
yeah,
not make
yeah.
any sense or fit there.
Yeah. Those are hard. Those are hard to deal with.
Again, this is about if someone is coming to your page, they are interested in you, right? You want to make sure that you're giving the best first impression possible. That header photo, when they get to your page, is going to be the first big thing that hits them in the face. So, photo, make it good, make it make sense, make it fit. That said, if you have video capabilities or you want to invest in doing a video, you can put a video in your header. And the benefit of putting a video in your header is, again, it's the first thing people see. 9 times out of 10, they're going to stop and watch that video.
Yeah.
So,
It'll catch their eye.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the trick there is don't put some like 20-minute testimonial or some thing you put. Make it a very, if you can, make it a simple video that just showcases who and what you are.
So
It can be shots. Let's say you're a restaurant,
Yeah.
for example, and you've got some really good food shots, a couple happy customer shots, and the chef in the kitchen giving you a thumbs up over some music. That could be 10, 15 seconds. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but it is another eye-catching thing that will keep them on your site or on your page for a little while longer than they might have.
what would be the difference in a video that you'd use for your cover photo and one you may use in your timeline or maybe in your video gallery?
With a timeline video, because that's going to go in the feed, like that's something you want people to sit and watch. Like that's where you do
So your minute and a half.
a commercial video
Yeah, 30 seconds.
that could be longer.
Okay.
You talking about the business or things of that nature. For a cover photo, it's just an opportunity to kind of showcase your business in a unique way. And that's the thing with the cover photo. It's the same thing for the photo or the video. Use this as an opportunity to showcase something specific or unique about your business. So if you're a restaurant and you've got this really cool item on the menu that people just like love to see, that's where you have a good photo of it. If you're retail and you want to show things off, if you're a service industry, like show off something really good about
Yeah.
it, whether that's interacting with a customer or just a nice shot. But think of it as something that gets people to be engaged by your page.
Can we do it from the phone or do we have to have a?
Yeah, look, this doesn't have to be like I paid $400 to have some professional photographer come out and shoot a bunch of really high-end photos all over my business. Like if you can take a good look, we all have nice iPhones. You can take good photos with iPhones. So as long
Yeah.
as it's a good photo, and I would say this: if you're setting up your page or you already have a page, either way, say, how is my cover photo fit? Does it make sense? If not, shoot a photo for your cover photo. I would do that, and we typically try to do that for every client. We try to make sure that we have an image that is geared for that role specifically. Same thing with the profile picture. We will design those things so that they fit their purpose and serve their purpose well.
Fantastic. Well, I think that was good. I think it's good tips. And I think it's amazing how many of these may seem like just elementary, redundant things on Facebook, but it's hard to see everybody have 5 out of 5 of them done correctly. And if we didn't see it all the time, we certainly wouldn't spend the time giving tips on it. That's great tips, Philip. So again, we're Think Idea Studio. We're passionate about helping small to medium-sized businesses grow and educate in marketing and whatever we can do and learn from some of the experiences we've had. And so if you have any further questions for Philip, feel free to reach out on social media. Any questions for me, it's philip@thinkis.com or justin@thinkis.com. And we can help you set up your Facebook page if that's something you need help with as well.
Or just
So-
help with some advice, or we
Yeah.
also offer some inexpensive social media photography packages. We've come for 30 minutes to an hour, shoot some pictures that you can have to use for your profile picture, your header, your social media, your website, whatever you want.
Yep.
That is just to help some of the local businesses who maybe don't have someone in-house or don't feel like they have the photography skills that they
Right.
need. And that's something they can use to help their business out moving down.
So as a closing tip, I think we do this a lot, is to take pressure off constant social media photos, is to have a photographer come out there for a half day or even a few hours and build an asset library. And man, you can have those photos and use those for a year if you need to. So it's fantastic. But anyway,
20 or 30 photos go,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot, but 20 or 30 photos go a long way.
Absolutely.
Like you can have, we typically try and shoot a collection of photos for every client. And we can use, if we get 12 or 13 really good ones, we can probably use those for about the whole year.
Yep.
So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for listening in. And we look forward to hearing any feedback or questions you have. And we're glad to be back on after the small break and hopefully make this more regular. So thank you.